What's up, Money Minds? Welcome back to another video edition of Market Briefs by the Minority Mindset. Today is September 29th. Here's some business and financial news you can finally use. We're running out of cash. Okay, when we say we are running out of cash, we're referring to the U.S. government here. Treasury Secretary Yellen said that the U.S. will completely run out of cash by October 18th unless Congress raises the debt ceiling. Now, to be clear, this is completely different than a government shutdown. If the debt ceiling is not raised, the U.S. government would essentially go into default. And this has never happened in U.S. history. Evergrande, U.S. government, there is a ton of defaulting going on. First off, in our market recap for September 28th, let's go over all of the highlights and lowlights of everything that happened in markets yesterday. U.S. stocks had a terrible Tuesday trading session. The Nasdaq had its worst day since March, and the Dow actually dropped around 570 points. In fact, energy was the only sector in the S&P 500 that didn't trade yesterday in the red, with ExxonMobil actually jumping by around 1.05% and Schlumberger hitting 2.38% in positive gains. And in our Wednesday financial tip of the day, I think we just busted a myth. Let's be honest, personal finance is pretty darn complicated, and everyone will give you a different bit of advice when it comes to investing. You get it? It is super easy to just throw your hands up in the air, give up, and avoid investing altogether. But that is not in your best interest. Our team just wrote an article that debunks all of the top investing myths. And if you want to read that article, I will link it for you in the description below. In our first story of the day today, let's go a bit more in depth on the market. As I mentioned earlier, the Nasdaq dropped the most in yesterday's trading session after it looked like big tech stocks forgot to hit the weight room. In fact, tech companies led a broad sell-off on Wall Street yesterday. So what went down? Well, a rise in treasury yields pushed investors to rethink the current market prices, and if the most popular stocks in the market right now have run a bit too high. The 10-year treasury yield rose to around 1.53%. Investors are keeping an eye on this gauge as an indicator for investor confidence, in a very broad sense. In our second story of the day, wow, they're still watching. And no, I'm not talking about all of you, but thanks for watching, by the way. I'm talking about with family sharing on the rise, Netflix's data has been, well, pretty up in the air. It looks like now we don't have to guess, at least for the most popular titles anymore, about who's actually watching. Netflix has officially revealed how many accounts are actually watching its most watched movies and shows. Here's how the data panned out. Around 82 million accounts watched Bridgerton Season 1, and just about 76 million accounts watched Lupin Part 1 and The Witcher Season 1. The film category, nearly 100 million people watched Extraction. That's followed by Bird Box, which 89 million accounts viewed, and then Spencer Confidential, which nearly 85 million accounts viewed. Why does this even matter? The streaming wars are back and more aggressive than ever. It feels like every single quarter a new service gets released, and it's nice to see some actual stats behind a major streamer's boasts. Netflix might be known as the OG king of streamers, but they'll have to keep pushing out new content in today's fast-paced world where consumers demand fresh and quality content pretty much constantly. What are you currently binging on Netflix? I haven't watched much Netflix since they canned The Office, but if you've got a good suggestion for me, leave it in the comments below and join the conversation. That's it for our main two stories of the day today, so let's take a quick break to talk about today's sponsor, Robinhood. Robinhood lets you invest in companies that you love, all commission-free. In addition, they give you just about all of the tools you need to succeed. From the moment you sign up, Robinhood gives you the tools you need to put your money in motion. In addition, their super easy to use app makes investing accessible, giving you the ability to customize your investments however you like. And with Robinhood, it is super easy to stay up to date on everything in your portfolio. In addition, Robinhood lets you customize your news and notifications so you can stay on top of all of your assets as casually or as relentlessly as you like. That means controlling the flow of what you see is entirely up to you. Robinhood believes that the financial system should be built and work for everybody. That's why they create products that let you invest at your own pace. So if you're interested in making an investment with Robinhood or just want to learn more about what they're all about, I'll leave a link in the description below on exactly how you can do that. Big shout out to Robinhood for sponsoring this video, and now back to the news. Next up, we've got something electrifying. I mean, quite literally though. Ford and battery producer SK Innovation will invest over $11.4 billion into new American plants, creating 11,000 new jobs across the nation in an effort to boost the production of electric vehicles and electric batteries. Ford itself is building 2 brand new battery plants, one in Kentucky as well as a 3,600-acre plant in Tennessee. The Tennessee plant in particular will contain a supply center, recycling spot, and an assembly factory, all dedicated to electric pickup trucks. Over $5.8 billion will go to the Kentucky plants, and about $5.6 billion will go to the massive new Tennessee site. Earlier this year, Ford promised around $30 billion will go towards electric vehicle production over the next 4 years. But it looks like around $7 billion was already invested before February of this year. And by 2030, Ford expects that 1/3 of all of its full-size trucks sold in America will be electric. Here's the not so good though. Ford recently recalled over 17,000 electric Mustang Mach-E S editions in the US over potentially dangerous windshields. But they do have a few years to kind of work out all the bugs, so we'll see how they drive to the finish line. Next up is our Pick Your Brain section, and I'll say it, buying life insurance sucks. Which is exactly why our second sponsor of the day, Policy Genius, makes buying life insurance super easy and super inexpensive. Plus, they have a ton of licensed experts that are just a click away and ready to answer your questions. And I already know what you're thinking, and no, the experts do not work on commission. So if you want to learn more about Policy Genius and how they make life insurance easy, I'll leave a link in the description below on how you can check them out and sign up. In our second Pick Your Brain of the day, let's talk about Goldman Sachs. Investment bank Goldman Sachs just adjusted its optimistic forecast for crude oil. It now expects crude oil to hit about $90 a barrel by the end of the year. That's up from its previous prediction of about $80 a barrel. Next up is our Money Mind section, where we pull comments directly from you on our YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok accounts. Today's comment is from Dwayne Morgan on our YouTube channel, and the comment reads, use your money as a tool and not as a fool. I think I smell a t-shirt and bumper stickers coming. New merch drop soon? Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see, huh? In the meantime, we just made a video on everything you need to know about the middle class and where it may be heading next. So if you're interested in watching that video, I will link it for you in the description below. This next story is all about paying the price. Wells Fargo is being forced to pay about $72.6 million in a lawsuit alleging the bank overcharged hundreds of businesses on foreign exchange transactions. Between 2010 and 2017, the bank admitted to overcharging around 711 businesses. At the time, Wells Fargo told customers they were being charged fixed rates, only to allegedly tell its sales representatives to overcharge them. The bank then covered up these charges and gave false explanations to the customers for the increased rates, behavior they now say was completely unacceptable. But don't worry, the story has a happy ending. At least $35 million, which is half the settlement, will be given to the overcharged victims in the lawsuit, and the other $37 million will be sent to the U.S. as a penalty. The whistleblower who started the case against Wells Fargo all the way back in 2016 is expected to receive almost $2 million from the proceeds. So I guess in this case, snitches get riches? Money Minds, we are nearing the end of today's business and financial newsletter, but here's just a few more things to keep in mind. Douyin, aka the Chinese TikTok, is limiting kids under the age of 14 to 40 minutes of watch time per day. Another thing to keep in mind this week is MasterCard is toying with the buy now pay later service model. In fact, the company just announced MasterCard installments for consumers. In addition, Activision Blizzard, which is the company behind Call of Duty and World of Warcraft, just paid a $18 million settlement during a harassment lawsuit. And finally, the White House said that over 400,000 Americans got a booster shot from pharmacies last weekend. That's a lot of post-shot lollipops. That's it for today's business and financial news. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.